Thank you for clicking on this Fun with Pete and Sherry video. I am your host Julian, and today we are taking a break from the Speyside, where we've been for a little while, and crossing over to the other side of the map. That is both the flavor map and the map of Scotland, to the Isla region, and we're going to be looking at this lovely Scotch, Laphroaig Quarter Cask. Now Laphroaig has got a reputation for being, a whiskey that doesn't baby you, shall we say. It does have a lot of bite, especially the 10-year-old has a lot of bite, a lot of iodine. Really, this one is different. Laphroaig Quarter Cask is an example of an old distillery taking knowledge that they've gained over a long period of time and using it to come up with a new strategy for making Scotch. It's something more distilleries should be doing, and it's something consumers should always encourage. A couple things to point out about Quarter Cask. It is double cask matured, spends a fair amount of time in a typical American bourbon barrel before being transferred into a quarter cask. Now that's a cask that's a quarter of the usual size. They used to be used because they could be loaded onto the back of a mule and transported more easily, important in smuggling days. 48% alcohol, so that puts it up in the same category as Ardbeg. Non-chill filtered is very important. Really, all scotches should be non-chill filtered. The advantage to chill filtration is that it makes the whiskey not become cloudy when you add water. And A, I rarely add water. B, why would I care if the whiskey became cloudy? It is for the enjoyment of idiots that whiskey is chill filtered, and it does the serious whiskey drinker no good whatsoever. You will note no age statement on this, and this is not a bad thing. Initially you might think if they're not putting the age on the Scotch, it's because they're trying to give you young Scotch and get away with it. That's probably not only wrong, but close to the exact opposite of what's really going on here. What's really going on here is they've probably mixed Scotches together, quite old and quite young, in order to get the best of both. And so if you add half 6-year-old Scotch and half 21-year-old Scotch in a bottle, and you put an age statement on that bottle, you have to put 6. It always has to be the youngest Scotch. So if they did that, they would sort of penalize themselves for having taken the time to craft something with their good old whiskey and their good new whiskey. Top of the bottle, like smooth vanilla and some little hints of citrus. Just like to put my whole face in there and breathe in and out a little bit. Really start to viscerally soak up that peat. Taste. As the smack in the mouth of the new oak and peat fades, it's kind of like a huge spike of flavor, and then it sort of begins to level off. There's this great surge of warm flavors. There's citrus and floral and cream notes, and it just is this long, beautiful parade of different flavors. It's really really amazing. Probably not what you're expecting if you're used to different Laphroaigs. This is worth trying. Whew. That initial bite, as I say, it is the peat, and the peat is acting as a flavor enhancer to not only the effect of the bourbon barrels, but The quarter casks, which were specially made for Laphroaig, in other words, new oak. New oak has a very distinct flavor. I haven't talked about new oak much because there aren't that many scotches that use new oak. Bourbon barrels are so cheap and they impart a nice flavor. Also, if you're not careful with your new oak, it can impart a very green, sappy, tanniny sort of taste. So I'm not sure exactly how these casks were prepared, but they were prepared right, because you get that huge blast from this this oaky, peaty bite, and yet at the same time it's really smooth on the finish. It is a it's a paradox. And this is the kind of scotch that makes you very glad that you're a scotch drinker, and makes you very glad that you're an Islay scotch drinker, and makes you feel a little sorry for people who aren't. Whereas I initially felt that this was like getting kicked in the mouth, I now see it as being kicked in the mouth by a very attractive woman in a very short skirt.
なんだ。構えもなけど。
Well worth any initial pain that might come about. Thank you for that demonstration. That was Rina Takeda from the movie High Kick Girl. I've got a link to it down below. Rating, God, this is hard, but I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10, 9.0. And that'll be all for today. Thank you for clicking on this Fun with Pete and Sherry video. I'll see you next time for something very special.